Hello my darlings, Aon here. Due to recent YouTube updates, comments as well as likes have become more important than ever. I beg you to please consider doing that exactly. I check comments every couple hours, so I will most definitely see and read what you leave behind. Suggestions for content in the future are always greatly appreciated, and questions you have I try to always answer whenever possible. YouTube is currently implementing a feature called Hype, so if you're one of the lucky few who already have access to the feature, I would be very thankful if you gave me one. My videos are created without the use of AI, so please support fellow human content creators against AI slop channels. Thank you for your consideration, and let's get right into the video. It was late, and the concept of time existing in hell, day and night, the necessity of sleep, they had been among the bigger surprises to you in hell. But, regardless of that, your search had led deep into the night, and frankly, you were tired. But that had to be with the demon archetype you spawned as. And you probably hated that even more. Your eyes fell upon the lavish modern hotel, a gaggle of demons waddling around, but nowhere near close to the amount that had been here just a few days ago after the successful repelling of the angel horde. Things truly had mellowed out after Vox Tech put all their news coverage against the Hasbin Hotel. Not that you cared. More of a gamer rather than a TV watcher. You got your news via texts and social media clips, not from pompous TV heads. Hands in your hoodie's pockets, you entered into a beautiful red and black decorated lobby. A bar stood nearby, the demon behind it looking incredibly bored, with a bottle against his lips. He didn't seem to notice you, but he wasn't your target. It wasn't until you took the first step onto a grand staircase when he grumbled loudly, "Intruders get shot." You stopped, turning without raising your head. "We aren't open. Charlie and, well, today her name was Vanessa. Didn't stick, of course." The demon peeked into his bottle, raised it over his head, and let the final droplet fall onto his tongue. "Ugh," he growled. "I'm looking for someone, and it appears he's living here now." He tried looking for your eyes, but they were covered by the darkness of your hood. "Yeah, sure, whatever. Look, I don't give a shit, alright?" He casually, not threateningly, threw the bottle at you. Grabbing in midair, you instinctively looked at the label. "Charlie says its percentage is too high for demons trying to redeem themselves. I'm not trying to redeem myself. But I can't keep too many of these bottles out. This one was my last. Get what I mean? Get me one, and I get whoever you're after." Sighing, you shoved the bottle into your pocket. "Fine." You turned your heels. When you reached the entrance door, you huffed. "It's Baxter. I'm looking for Baxter." The demon shook his head. "How did the brainiac get a stalker like you?" He almost sounded impressed. Husk watched you leave, and sighing, he jumped over the bar towards the reception desk, going through the guest book. As a skilled gambler, even with your attempts at hiding what you were, you weren't fooling him. There was no danger coming from you, or there was no danger coming from you for the hotel, so no point in actually getting rid of you. "No, of course the little brat is in room 1984. What a joke." Husk rolled his eyes before dialing the number into the reception phone. A very annoyed-sounding Baxter soon picked up. "Who is this? Genius scientists happen to need 9 hours of sleep." "Yeah, well, there's a lass looking for her scientist boyfriend." Silence. And then Oh, her. So how does a girl like you get a girl like her? Husk could practically hear Baxter's brows narrow. She was a promotion reward from Valentino. I thought good news assistants are always appreciated. When I saw her the first time, I knew, but too late. She was a promotion reward from Valentino. I thought, good news, I got an assistant now. They're always appreciated. But when I saw her the first time, I knew what she was, but by then it was already too late. Right. Well, she's your responsibility now. I'll be there post-haste. Don't worry, cat-faced barman. I'll be there. Baxter slammed the phone down, while Husk just sighed. Weirdo. In the meantime, you held a brown bottle in your hand as you left a small liquor store. You had seen this brand at Valentino's before. He used it to fill up newbies. The stuff tasted like petroleum. First time you had it, half a glass was enough to make you tumble. You thought you were quite used to the stuff. You shook your head at the memory as you re-entered the hotel. The winged cat demon was behind the bar again, and Baxter, dressed in a white bathrobe and his typically grumpy expression, sat on a bar stool. An aura of unease overcame the two demons as they could feel the moment your eyes fell onto him. But your expression didn't change. You knew how to act. With an almost cold expression, you proceeded through the lobby, placing the bottle on the cat's hand, and then sitting down next to Baxter. I admit, doll, I expected you sooner. You hit your trail quite well, you answered Baxter. With 2 fingers, he reached up to your hood. Pulling it back, revealing your perfectly shaped paper-white face. You were a demonet, a sinner demon race that was highly sought after. Your kind drew power from something unusual: obsession. Demonets could attach themselves to demons like social parasites, stalking them, being close to them, as they quite literally drew power for the emotions of their target. Be it fear, love, attraction, as long as it was an intense enough feeling, it strengthened you, like a succubus, but sinner-born, and less prone to sleeping around with anything that walked, as you attached yourself to only one person. In your case, Baxter. Demonettes were quite easy to spot too. The bodies were fully white, hair, skin, everything, even the blood, with the only exception of yellow eyes that shined faintly in light. You were dressed in a black and white striped hoodie that tightly fit around your slender form, cropped just above your navel, and black pants that were barely longer than boxer shorts, all rounded up with thigh-high socks and red sneakers. So, how? Asked Husk again. He wanted your side of the story. Demonettes rarely survived long in hell due to having to find the one soul in hell that nourished them with strength. It was random. Nah. She brought me a refreshment while I was working on the Voxtech server farm. The moment he acknowledged my existence, I felt a surge of happiness, strength, and attention that I never felt before. You looked at Baxter. In life, you would have never spared a second glance at a small-statured nerd like him, but the curse that was your existence made him the most attractive little guy ever, and was difficult right now not to shower him in kisses. Her incessant attention-seeking slowed my research. Baxter, however, didn't have the heart to tell you that on the list of reasons he joined the hotel, you had been a part of. Told her if she can enter as my assistant, she could help me in my laboratory.
But who knew Valentino actually would agree to it?
He looked at you.
You cost me a promotion.
Husk laughed loudly. There was just something really adorable about a hot piece of ass like you pining over a little nerdy goblin-sized merfolk like him. Please give me another chance, Baxter.
You just want to use me like a battery. I'm a brilliant scientist, not your battery.
You crossed your arms and scoffed. To you, what you felt was love. It really felt like it, even though it very obviously wasn't. The fact that my attraction to you can be explained by my archetype doesn't change how I feel.
You know love is just a bunch of chemicals that force animals to breed. For you, it even has an enhancement by magical bullshit.
A gray tone appeared on your face. It was your form of blushing. Husk watched the two of you bicker from behind the counter, one brow lifting as Baxter kept tugging its rope tighter and tighter, like he was trying to shrink inside it. You, meanwhile, sat perfectly still, gaze fixed on Baxter with the kind of unwavering attention that made even Husk feel the second-hand intensity. The silence dragged on, awkward and heavy. Husk finally exhaled sharply.
All right. Genius,
he said, pointing a claw at Baxter.
Sit up straight. You're falling like a cheap lawn chair.
Baxter jolted upright, eyes darting to you, then away, then back again. Husk smirked.
Good. Now I can actually watch you panic properly. I am not panicking.
Baxter snapped, but his voice cracked halfway through it. Husk held up both hands.
Oh, sure. Totally calm. Totally chill. Definitely not acting like someone just told you your crush walked into the room.
Baxter sputtered, and you blinked slowly.
My what?
Baxter slammed his hands on the counter, immediately regretting it as the impact stung his palms. Husk shrugged.
I said what I said. That is an illogical accusation. Baseless. Completely, profoundly incorrect.
Right. Husk interrupted, bored already.
Then why'd you run downstairs wearing a robe like you were on fire the second I said she was here?
Baxter froze. You turned your head towards him. He looked like he wished the floor would open up.
I simply wish to assess the situation. You sprinted.
Husk corrected.
Nearly tripped down the last step. Impressive, huh? That tiny feet of yours work. Are you shrimp shaming me? I will not stand for that.
Husk laughed and set a bottle down, leaning forward on his elbows.
Look, pal. I don't know either of you that well. Especially her. But I know this.
He pointed at you.
Hot.
He pointed at Baxter.
Nerd. Worthless. Useless. Stupid.
Baxter's fins flared in offense. You tried not to smile.
And somehow, Hot is obsessed with nerd. Not the other way around. This is a once-in-a-century miracle in hell.
Baxter opened his mouth and then closed it and then opened it again.
I didn't ask for it. You think anyone gets asked before falling head first into this kind of mess? Hell works on chaos. And right now, chaos is handing you a gift.
Baxter swallowed hard.
And for the record, you're enjoying this way more than you want to admit.
I swear I'm not.
You're talking complete sentence directly at her. Husk said flatly. It's more social interactions than I've ever seen you manage. And I met her 5 minutes ago.
Baxter froze. Slowly, cautiously, his eyes slid towards you. And for the first time, he didn't look annoyed or flustered. You felt your chest tighten, that dangerous, intoxicating pull your species was cursed with. But Baxter didn't recoil. Not this time. Husk's smirk widened.
There it is. That's the spark.
Baxter cleared his throat aggressively.
I am considering possibilities. Buddy,
Husk said, pouring himself a drink.
That's steaming for you. Buddy,
Husk said, pouring himself a drink while pointing a finger at him.
That's steaming for, yeah, okay, she's cute and I might like this. Buddy,
Husk said, pouring himself a drink while pointing at you.
That's steaming for you, okay, she's cute. I might enjoy this after all.
Baxter's face turned a shade that could only be described as scientifically catastrophic embarrassment. Husk, was it? You murmured. He lifted his bottle and saluted.
Hey, you don't need to thank me. I'm just speeding things up before these butterflies start corroding my bar counter.
Baxter shot him a glare, then turned back to you, this time meeting your eyes directly.
Yeah, perhaps we can discuss the logistics of it.
Husk groaned.
That's his version of asking you out.
Your bright yellow eyes widened just slightly, and your smile broke through, soft, and very much involuntary. Baxter didn't look away, not even once. He shifted on the bar stool again, tugging at the tie of his robe like it was suddenly too tight. You watched him with that steady, unnerving, demonet calm, the kind that made every micro-reaction he had feel 10 times louder. Husk rolled his eyes.
Alright, I'm sick of this. If you're gonna keep staring holes into each other, at least do it somewhere that isn't my lobby and my bar.
He barked, and Baxter snapped his head towards him.
This is not... we are simply... Buddy, I'm literally begging you. Take your girl upstairs before she starts glowing like a lighthouse.
Your cheeks heated, and Baxter caught into his fist, trying to hide the tiny spark of pride flickering through his eyes.
I'm not... She's not... We're not that kind of...
Husk pointed at you without looking up.
She's about 10 seconds from climbing into your lap. Do something.
You froze, and Baxter froze even harder.
I mean... doll... Let's relocate, I suppose. We have matters to discuss that are more of a private nature.
Your heart jumped, and Husk grinned behind his bottle.
Yeah, great idea. Shoo.
Baxter ignored him entirely, motioning for you to follow him, a surprisingly steady hand. You slid off your stool and stepped beside him, your hip brushing his shoulder. That was all it took for Baxter to stiffen like he'd just been tasered. He cleared his throat, eyes fixed ahead.
My room is, in the, upper floors. Room 1984.
You didn't look away from him. And he swallowed, his ears tinting pink.
I mean, of course you know by now. You found me after all.
The two of you walked towards the stairs, your pace matching his without trying. Husk watched you go, shaking his head with a smirk.
Unbelievable,
he muttered.
Nerd scores a demonet. Hell really is ending.
Baxter reached the base of the stairs, hesitated for half a heartbeat, and then turned to you fully. His voice quiet but certain.
Just come, alright?
You nodded. He led you upward, each step pulling the two of you deeper into the warm red glow of the Husband Hotel. By the time you reached the top of the stairs, Baxter's hand hovered, not touching, but close enough that you could feel the heat of him. And then you two stopped before a door marked 1984. His fingers curled around the handle. He looked at you, nervous, maybe a little hopeful, resigned, all at once. And he opened the door.
Well, I guess after you, doll.
Baxter's room was quite the whiplash. With all those quiet, overwhelming, and hell-typical reds, being suddenly confronted with a sleek, modern white and dark blue room was actually really comforting. You sat down on his bed, legs crossed, head resting on your right shoulder with a coy smile.
I'm still not comfortable with this arrangement, doll, he growled.
Come on,
But,
he interrupted. His fingers tapped together in thought.
Even Einstein had a wife, I think. I'm not a history buff.
Wife? Your eyes glowed, and he deadpanned.
You're smart, doll. You know what I mean when I said that. Don't tease me like that.
Sorry. You raised both hands, smirking. So, do you want to sit on my lap and discuss the Pythagorean's theorem? He shook and blushed hard. He crossed his arms.
Temptress!
He hissed, offended. With a finger you traced the soft blanket you were sitting on. Licking your lips, you leaned back a little to make your lap more enticing.
I have created the perfect bedding situation. I have to relocate where it's sleep. I actually have created the perfect bedding situation. I have to recalculate where I have to sleep, since, well, you're obviously joining me now. I want instructions to give the staff. Frankly, they are the first people in hell who understand the positioning of my pillow is mathematically perfect, and they place it in the correct spot, folding it correctly as well. It's actually pretty good. I like it here.
Right. You uncrossed your legs and flashed your teeth. And I'm the biological chaos that gets thrown into your perfect calculations. You teased.
What do you mean?
You nodded towards him with a dirty look. Maybe it's the fact you're happy to see me. He jolted and turned around.
My body's functions are not of your concern.
Sighing, you stood up. With 2 long strides, you were beside him. Oh, it's okay, you said while your fingers snaked under his armpits.
Hey!
He didn't struggle, and even though he protested, he didn't physically resist, even after you lifted him. It was a mix of defeat and, I actually really want this, that was stirring inside him. You threw yourself back on his bed, his little body on your lap, cradling him, doting him.
I actually can't remember the last time I was out like this. And I have photographic memory.
You held him tighter after he said that, your palms pressed gently over his ribs, your fingers tracing slow, calming lines along his sides. Baxter's breath hitched. Not from fear, but from something warm and unfamiliar crawling up his spine. He hated that he liked it. He pushed his glasses up with a shaky hand.
Doll, this is impractical.
You hummed softly, your chin resting on top of his head. Do you want me to let go? He stiffened again.
Yeah, of course not. I'd just like to correct it.
You smiled against his hair, your arms wrapped around him fully now. His robe bunching under your fingers as you pulled him closer. He sat awkwardly in your lap, back straight, shoulders tense. But he leaned into you despite himself. Your lips brushed the top of his head. Just a light touch, barely anything. and his whole body jolted.
"Doll, do not start with..."
You kissed him again, a little lower, just above the fin of his ear. He inhaled sharply. You felt the tiny tremble that ran through him. Your hand slid up his arms, slow, gentle, drawing him back against your chest. You felt his heartbeat quicken as he tried to hide his face in the collar of his robe. "Baxter," you whispered. His name softened in your voice, and he swallowed.
"Yes, doll."
You lowered your head, turning him slightly so you could see the flush painting his cheeks. Your thumb brushed along his jaw. You leaned in, and Baxter froze, like time stopped around him. Your lips met his. It was small at first, bare and careful. A quiet press of warmth against his mouth. Baxter's fingers curled into your hoodie, holding on, steadying himself. He let out the tiniest sound, more surprised than anything, and when you kissed him again, he kissed back, shy and unsure, but willing. Your hands found the center of his chest, feeling the rise and fall as he breathed against you. His robe slipped slightly off one shoulder. You fixed it gently, your fingers brushing along his collarbone. He shivered. You tilted your head, your lips moving with his in soft, slow passes, not rushing, not even messy, just a steady warmth that pulled him deeper into your hold. Baxter leaned into you, his hands gripping your shoulders like he finally gave up, pretending he didn't want you. You felt the tension melt out of him, all that nervous calculation replaced with something warm and needy he didn't know how to hide anymore. When he finally pulled back, he didn't move far. His face brushed yours, his breath shaky, cheeks glowing a deep pink.
"Doll,"
he whispered, a voice low and unsteady.
I think we should continue this after I correct a few more variables."
Your smile grew slow and knowing, your hand sliding around his waist, holding him close in a way that made him exhale sharply against your mouth. "We're on your bed already, genius." He swallowed hard, his fingers curling your hoodie.
I am aware."
You shifted, laying him gently back against the pillows. His eyes locked onto yours, wide, almost hopeful even, definitely wanting though. Baxter's voice dropped to whisper,
"Stay."
And when you leaned over him, hands braced beside his shoulders, your lips brushed his again. There was no doubt, for either of you, that the night wasn't anywhere near over yet.
Good job, you reached the end of the video. This makes you part of an exclusive club. The secret password for November and December is grape juice. Comment below to tell fellow club members you watched the video until the very end. Lastly, before I say goodbye, I would like to shout out all of my lovely channel members whose generosity is truly humbling. Nyla, Angry Boxman, Twilight Mia, Melofia, Yuri Van Helsing, Fangwolf, Kyokon Dakot, Chloe Lucero. And a special thank you to Gloria Morningstar for supporting my highest tier. Your support is unbelievably appreciated and I can't thank you enough. And with this, I'll end the video. Have a nice day and goodbye.